Hey everybody, it's Megan from I Love Bodywork, and I'm doing 30 ideas in 30 days to increase your health, happiness, and wellness. And today is day 16. So today's video is all about decreasing your sugar intake. So before we go any further, I am not a doctor, I am not a medical doctor, I am not a nutritionist. These are ideas that I have gotten from working with nutritionists, my own personal examples of what I have done and what has helped me, and then also anecdotes from other people, clients, friends, family, yoga industry, massage industry, my own personal doctors, things like that. However, if you have some specific dietary need or plan that from a diagnosis or from your doctor, then you need to follow that. And you also need to use common sense. So if you're concerned about doing any changes or any of this makes you a little weary, then I suggest that you talk to your doctor. But generally speaking, for most people, decreasing your sugar is one of the best things that you can do for your diet and for your health, happiness, and wellness, period. So let's get started. Also, wait a minute. We're going to get started right after this. So these are ideas to decrease your sugar intake. You can definitely use these to cut out your sugar totally. However, if you're going to do that, where you do 100%, you cut out all of the sugar from your diet, right? That's including fruit, and then natural sweeteners like honey and maple syrup, things like that, stevia, then I suggest you go with a program that sets you up for it, because often when you're doing something like that, it's getting off of like caffeine or a drug. You want to wean yourself properly, and that process is usually part of whatever program you get. So I have a couple of friends that I know that have done this. I'll tag them and I'll ask them to put the books and authors that they put in there. Also, you can just go with a nutritionist. So you have guided support from somebody to help you with it. All right, so let's get into this. Ideas to decrease sugar. My first suggestion is to not make any changes in food journal for 7 to 10 days. Write down every single thing, including your water intake and including any beverages that you drink, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, whatever, every single thing that you digest, you food journal for 7 to 10 days. The reason for this is you want to have a realistic look at your sugar intake, and that includes your healthy foods like fruit and low sugar snack bars. The second thing is that you want to start having things to supplement your sugar with, because sugar cravings are hard, right? So you want to have bought and prepared things in your house. So what are some of these things? Cinnamon tea is a great one to cut out sugar cravings. Also, doTERRA Slim and Sassy is helpful for sugar cravings and food cravings in general, and to increase your metabolism. So they make veggie caps, and they also sell the oil. I personally use the veggie caps that I take a few times a day. Some other things that you can do is you need to increase your water intake quite a bit. So if you have a really hard sugar craving come on, chug a glass of water and see how you feel after that. And then meditation as well. So often when we start getting withdrawals from sugar, just like with any drug, we get really, really uncomfortable really, really quickly, and we don't want to feel this way, and we don't want to deal with this, and we don't want, right? All of that happens. My suggestion for you is to sit quietly and don't fight those feelings. The less you fight that urge, the quicker it will go away. And when you can sit into an uncomfortable situation and find a level of comfort with it, that is you beating that addiction. So what are some other ideas that you can do, right? And these are all things that I personally do or things that I have heard of. First off, if you have, you bake your own goods. So you can replace a lot of packaged, sugary, processed stuff if you just bake your own food. So if you like muffins, you can find recipes for like whatever the extra thing is. Like my muffins are usually gluten-free. I use almond flour. But the reason why you want to bake your own goods is because you can control the amount of sugar and all the ingredients that you're putting in it. And then you can control the type of sugar that you're putting in it. So are you using regular sugar? Are you using honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar? Those are some other alternatives. Also, choose quality over quantity and plan it. So I said in my food planning video that I will plan the amount of sugar that I eat, and one of the ways that I do that is I buy a certain amount of chocolate for the entire week, and I make sure it's really, really good, high percentage cacao chocolate. The higher the percentage of cacao, the less sugar is going to be in it. However, dark chocolate and chocolate in general does have caffeine. So just something to be aware of, you know, if chocolate's your thing, but you're trying to limit your caffeine as well. But that's just an idea. If your thing is cookies, my suggestion for you is to make your own cookies and find a healthier recipe and then limit how much you're eating. What else? So sometimes another thing to think about when you're in the process of decreasing your sugar is what are the nutrient levels in the rest of your body. So sometimes deficiency in calcium and magnesium can cause sugar cravings. So it might be an idea to check that your electrolytes are on point, or get a greens powder, like a multivitamin greens powder. I have mine from Herbally Grounded called Amazing Greens. Whatever multivitamin, whatever it is you're going to use to make sure that your levels of your electrolytes and your vitamins are on point. So you're not kind of like shooting yourself in the foot while you're trying to do this. All right. Next one that's really important is to check the labels and compare the amount of sugar in everything that you buy that's sugary. So your yogurt is a really good example. You want to decrease your sugar, start looking at labels and picking the brand that's the healthiest brand that has the least amount of sugar. So I do this with everything. I do this with snack bars. I do this with yogurt. I do this with frozen things like ice creams or, you know, whatever it might be. I get what has the lowest amount of sugar. I also stay away from no sugar added or no added sugar anything, because when you get into that stuff, that's all aspartame and synthetic and crazy. You know, part of decreasing your sugar is also accepting the fact that you're decreasing your sugar intake. And that can be difficult, I know. But if you give yourself a few weeks of doing this, it will become easier, I promise you. You also be aware to avoid certain triggers. So if you're an emotional eater, be aware of that. I would have a journaling process about that so you can, you know, set yourself up for success. If you know a stressful event's coming when you're trying to do this, or if you know certain behaviors from people around you tend to trigger you and that causes an emotional response to eat sweet things, or you're going to a restaurant and it has your favorite dessert, but you're really trying to not eat that dessert, like that's the type of stuff that you need to prepare for and make alternate choices. One way you can do that, let's use the example of you're going to a party. Bring your own sweet stuff. You know, if you know you're going to a barbecue or something and there's going to be pie or cake or cupcakes or a birthday party or something like that, bring your own sweet thing, because then you're still a part of it. You don't feel like you're out. You're not the person who's like, I'm not eating any sugar right now. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know, go you, but you're setting yourself up for success. You're more likely going to succeed in that situation, you know, if you supplement something. So some other things you can do are to increase your superfoods, because that's just going to make you healthier and they help with sugar cravings. You can do smoothies instead of milkshakes or something with ice cream. You can do like a banana, almond milk, cacao powder with a little bit of honey instead of a chocolate milkshake, just as an example. You know, you can go crazy. Again, use the internet. And then frozen fruit is another option. Again, because this is to decrease sugar, not completely cut out sugar, you can eat some fruit, you know, if that's something that you want to do. So we buy big bags of frozen fruit like strawberries and mango, and we'll eat that, you know, for like dessert or a sweet treat instead of ice cream, cookies, whatever. My final recommendation for you, and this is going to sound a little crazy unless you've done this before, is if all of this sounds like a good idea, but you're like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea and that sounds like good information, but my chances of doing it are pretty low, or maybe I'll start it, but I'm just kind of coming from a place of, yeah, cool, but whatever. I suggest that you take a few things out of your kitchen, like your soda, your cookies, your ice cream, your Snickers bar, or your whatever bar, candy bar, and you look at the complete amount of grams of sugar that's in that thing, so all of the servings in that thing, and then you weigh out the amount of grams of white sugar. So what you're going to notice is it's insane how much sugar is packed into some of these things that we eat. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Soda drinkers, you don't want to drink soda anymore. I highly suggest you get a visual image of how much sugar you're actually consuming. This is a really, really big, important thing. Actually, I would just do it anyways. And I'll sometimes go on the internet just as a little reminder for myself and look up, because people have made memes about this. You could also look it up on the internet, but it's different when you look at that thing that you just pulled out of your fridge, and then you take your sugar and your Ziploc bag, weigh out the amount of grams, and you look at it. It's really shocking and really profound. So if you have any questions or comments about this video, or if you want to share some advice to the people that are interested in this or watching, please comment below or tag people if you have nutritionist friends, dietitians, personal trainers, anybody that you think would be interested in adding more value to this conversation. Please comment below. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow with day 17.